Dear Chair, dear Vice Minister, dear CEO, dear Commissioner, dear Managing Director, dear Professor, dear Marianne, thank you all. And I think on behalf of AMF and the AEFR, thanks to the speaker who have enlightened us, some of them coming from very far, but representing the whole world, so it was a real privilege for us. Thank you to you, our dear audience, and thanks also once more to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for allowing us to reflect on this topic of the future in this historical surrounding. Thanks also to our dear moderator, Laura and Catherine. I think you did a tremendous work, and you allowed this discussion to go on so nicely. Thanks also to the hostess of this ministry. They've been so helpful to make this event a success. On behalf of the AEFR, I would also like to thank the IMF and first and foremost its president, Marianne Barbalayani, for this wonderful and exciting opportunity for collaboration between a major market supervisory authority and a financial regulation think tank. Thank you very much. Finally, a big thank you to the two teams who made this event a success. And I would like, it's my privilege to quote them: Jérôme Reboul, Estelle de Bossé, Jules Trieller, Pauline Briand, Christelle Fradin, Catherine Brûlereau, Michel Cogent, Cédric Fuentes, Ahmed Loukid, and Kevin Parent. I think you can give them a big applause. On behalf of, on the characteristic of geopolitics today, one of the characteristics of geopolitics today is that we are seeing the issue arise in new areas where until now little importance was attached to this dimension. And the one we have discussed today is the one where this question of geopolitics is entering into the debate. And I think we've been discussing it in an atmosphere that allows us to challenge this question of geopolitics that is surrounding us, that is behind all our mind, but we did it in a spirit of cooperation and mutual understanding. That is what we definitely need to cheers. Like any innovation, AI, and perhaps even more, quantum computing creates tension in the search for the right balance between innovation and regulation. We don't want innovation to be stifled by regulation, but we also don't want regulation to come too late. To resolve this issue or choose the right path in this context, I believe that one of the best practices is to ensure genuine and appropriate dialogue between academics, market players, and regulator authorities. Something tells me that this is what you have all contributed to this afternoon in a spirit of dialogue, open-mindedness, and mutual understanding. Once again, thank you to everyone who today contributed to this result. In the world, several institutions are on their path to try to discuss some of the topics we've been dealing with. In Europe, the European Commission is preparing before the end of this year an AI action plan and an initiative for 2026 on a proposal directive on quantum computing. Even if they were not part of our debate today, but I can imagine that the message coming out from this conference will be our first insight for their future work. But we must also mention the potential risk. I know we've been discussing a lot of risk, but to my understanding, there are some risks we didn't address. And they are the risks addressed because we've been discussing risk inside the system. But there are also people discussing outside this room of financial bubbles, which, as we all know from experience, can be significant in a sector subject to colossal investment and high stock market valuation without immediate profits. This conference focused on financial stability in the field of AI and quantum computing system, but we should not ignore we should not ignore the concern raised about systemic risk, which are echoes in the report by the G7 high-level expert group and the IMF Global Financial Stability Report. These concerns could relate to concentration, and Hamakon spoke this morning about too big to fail scenario, competition or opacity, procyclicality, market abuse, fraud, and misinformation, consumer discrimination, data protection, and macroeconomic impact. I believe this is also on the agenda behind the head of any supervisor when they deal with such topic. Even if they are not all in the heart of their mandate, they cannot ignore it. This may be why I would also like, during this concluding remark, to call upon Daron Semoglu thought, because we believe that institutions are rules of the game in a society, and they determine how new technology are adopted, controlled, and distributed. Without inclusive institutions that balance innovation with accountability, even transformative technology like AI and quantum computing risk exacerbating inequality or being co-opted by elite. It is also a way of drawing the attention of regulators present in this room to the importance of their role. I think they know it, but it's okay to recall it at this time, and of commending the spirit of cooperation and a willingness to address interoperability issue that they have all demonstrated, and to applaud them for this spirit. We need you to keep on in this direction. Three further remarks. Through this afternoon, we have been talking about technological boundary, but everyone participating in the public debate is aware that it's not just a technological issue. I imagine that this is one of the reasons why almost all the speakers mentioned the human factor. Allow me to return to this point. We need to keep this in mind because of the issue of governance. As with any major change, it is not always clear that leaders understand the critical importance of the issue from the outset. The human factor is also essential for recruitment and training. This is also because, as has been said, financial market cannot take the risk of employees developing a shadow IT system on their own initiative without a defined common framework. And I also understand it could be a question of human resources inside a regulator organization, and fair competition between public authorities and private market stakeholders. On the point of data, I think it was also very much mentioned as it is in the heart of these two technological challenges ahead of us. I would like to quote Valérie Baudson when she said we don't want garbage in, garbage out, because I think this is also one of the drivers where supervisor will need to have a role and a specific look at it. But it's also a debate where we know there can be a worldwide debate on do you want to have a privilege for data access, or where do you put the issue of private data protection. And I think this is an ongoing debate that will be renewed by these new technology. On investment, it was not in the heart of our agenda, but we can hear behind the alert, especially in our last roundtable on quantum computing, how much this is all behind. And I believe the right balance between proper allocation of capital, as Stefan Buchner has recalled us, and not letting the opportunity go is going to be a critical issue for all stakeholders, not only for supervisors. my last point is just to tell you that I've been very impressed by this discussion. I think we had a dream, which is to make sure you could all be in the same room to discuss what the industry is thinking about, how they are thinking about it, make sure supervisors understand what is going on, and where eventually supervisor can help them. And I think the message I heard today is a clear message that it's time for you, supervisor, to think now on resilience issue related to quantum computing, for example, and maybe after having fixed as quickly as possible the issue of stress tests for nature, to look very quickly on the one you will have to deal and to build with, to make sure to challenge the quantum computing. I wish you all the best for this. And if this conference has contributed to it, we fulfill our goal, and I will only need to wish you to enjoy a nice evening in Paris, City of Lights. Thank you very much.